Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Thomas. Samantha is off this week, which means you're stuck with me tonight. But don't worry about that because we have a really great show for you tonight. I think it's going to be so much fun. We are going to be talking life, transition, and being a small business owner. Our guest is Brax Fleming. Brax is a trans man, a nurse, a model, a total beast in the gym. I saw this video where he was doing a muscle up, and if you don't know what a muscle up is, like just look it up because this is amazing. But he is also the founder of Stealth Bros and Co. And we are going to be talking about that as well tonight. And just before we get started here, a bit of an obligatory disclaimer. Part of Brax's story does involve his company, and we are really excited to talk about how he founded that company and the kind of products that they offer. But to be clear, no money is changing hands here. This isn't a paid advertisement. We just think that Brax is really rad, and we want to share his story. So with that out of the way, please join me in welcoming Brax to the program. Hey, Brax.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah, me too. You and I actually had a chance to meet last year in Philly at the Philly Trans Wellness Conference. Like that was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah,
Oh
that
man,
was
I
a
had
good
the
time.
best time there. Yeah.
Seriously, me too.
Well,
It was
are you
awesome.
going to be attending again this year?
Yes, Stealth Bros will be there this year. So I'm looking forward to that as well, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I'm so excited to see you again and like hang out. Um, so why don't we just get started here? I think the best way to do that is probably just for you to introduce yourself a little bit to the audience.
Okay, well, my name is Brax. I am the founder and CEO of Stealth Bros and Co. Um, like he said, I do fitness. I'm a nurse. I do a little bit of modeling as well. And I just like to have an all around good time. That's pretty much, I just try to do everything as best as I can, always with everything. That's just how I am.
Yeah, I love that. No, I love following you and like being your friend because you're always like so positive and just like hyping everybody up and it's always such a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely the hype man. I definitely like to get people riled up and get them smiling and having a good time because that's truly what I'm really all about. I'm just really silly and I take really serious modeling pictures, but ultimately, like, I'm probably the silliest person out of all of my friends. So yeah, I'm just a goofy guy all around.
No, I totally vibe with that. Like I'm always posting all these like moody pics on Instagram, but I just be over here like being a goofball most of the time. So
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is.
yeah, no. Well, why don't we just kind of jump into it? A good place to start is probably just your coming out process itself. And maybe you can talk a little bit about your history and what it looked like for you, like coming out as trans and that story.
Yeah, basically, honestly, I was not aware of, you know, being transgender or even transgender individuals, period. I was just oblivious to the whole thing. But throughout, years prior to my transition, I started transitioning 2 years ago. So years prior to that, um, I always felt like I was missing something. I felt like I wasn't doing something. I felt like it was either my career or like I didn't really know what I was doing or what I was missing. But honestly, like I just stumbled across videos on YouTube because I'm a big research person, so I'm always on YouTube researching or watching something weird. And I don't even know how this just fell into my lap, but a video just fell into my lap, and I was like, what is this? And, I brought it up to my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, no, no, like, I don't want to do that. But I couldn't stop watching the videos. And, like, every watch videos, I would just cry and cry and cry because I was like, I'm connecting with this so much. Like, this is my life. And that's pretty much like how I found out about like transgender individuals. And then, I found out like how to get on hormones and all that good jazz, and put me to where I am today. But honestly, I was really lost in the sauce. I can say I didn't even know anyone that was transgender. This thing just, it was like, I feel like it was like supposed to happen in my life. Like there was nobody who told me, there was no signs or anything. It was just like put in front of me one day, and it was like, okay. And then after that, it's all history.
Mm. Yeah, it's amazing. I connect with what you're saying like so much because there are so many parallels to my own story and what you were describing, and how like the universe can sometimes just offer you up um, what you apparently needed, or maybe we're finally ready to see. Like you growing up, I didn't know any transgender people or even really understand exactly what being transgender was. And I certainly didn't understand myself as that way. And it wasn't until, honestly, we're on a pretty similar timeline actually with hormones. I think have been on hormones like 2 years this summer, and I came out just a little bit before that. But I was just like scrolling through Instagram, and like I stumbled across a page here and a page there, and I started reading what people were saying and watching videos and things, and just seeing myself in those videos so like immediately, but in a way that was like really confusing at first. I was like, oh, why is this so emotional? Like, why is this like
Right.
really tugging at my heartstrings, right? Like, like what is happening here? And just being like, and taking my time with it, and finally being like, oh, like that's me too. Like shit. Like that's me.
Yeah,
Like damn.
seriously, that's exactly how I felt. I was just like, this is my life. Like this is my life. It was it was very wild. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, no, it's a
But
wild
it was
process.
like a great, yeah, it was a great wild, but it was just like, because I just had this like, and I talked about it so often with, a lot of people in my family and with my girlfriend. Like, I just feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? Like, what
Mm.
is wrong? Like, what am I not doing? And, just to fill that void. And it's a beautiful thing. I feel so good. I'm so happy because of that. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that feeling.
No, that's amazing. And like, not to bring it like from a positive to a negative light, but I think a lot of people do like to hear kind of how others have kind of, I guess, what's a good way to put it, overcome. Like,
Mhm.
what were the struggles that you faced? Like, once you finally had this realization about yourself, and you could
Mhm.
see this, and you say you're having these conversations with your girlfriend. I mean, I mean, can you talk a little bit about like any hesitation or fear, or dynamics with your friends and family? Like, how did all of that go?
Definitely, like now looking back at it, the biggest, I guess, hurdle I had to overcome was just getting over like caring what people thought about me, or if they cared about what I did with my life. I think I was my biggest battle. I don't think it was really anybody else, because when I came out, everybody, like, I don't have a really sad coming out story because everybody accepted me. I made a YouTube video for all my immediate family because my parents are divorced, and I wanted to tell them, the same exact things, but I didn't know how to do that. And since we all can't be together in one room like that, I figured make a video, tell them how I was feeling, what was going on, and yeah, that was it. And they all accepted me. That was the hardest part. It was just like letting them know. But once they all accepted me, it was just like, yeah, this is good. This is good. So it was really good for me as far as my friends and family. I had the struggles, of course, like at work, and being misgendered and just not feeling comfortable in my body because I was feeling a certain way but looking a different way, and dealing with all those aspects of it. But now when I look back at it, it's like it wasn't that bad. When I went through it, like I was upset, I was mad because one, your hormones are balancing and you're just mad at life in
Mm.
general. But but overall, like when I look back, I'm like, nah, it really wasn't that bad. And the people who did misgender me, like they just needed to be told. And once they were really told, like, look, this is what it is, I'm not kidding. It was a totally different thing afterwards with everybody that I spoke to individually that, was still saying the wrong thing or whatever the case may be. But
Mm.
ultimately, I really haven't had any problems. Everybody accepts me, my family, my girlfriend. I'm still with her. We've been together for 9 years and she
Yeah,
loves me
wow.
no matter what. So, yeah,
Mm.
it's wild. I'm very blessed. Like, I'm so thankful that
Yeah.
have all these great experiences because I know that not everybody has that experience, and
Mm. Hmm.
I don't take anything from those people, but you know there are really good individuals out there in the world, and I just happen to be amongst some of them.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And I mean, I think it's a really good point to be made of like how we so often hear a trans narrative or trans person's story. Um, there's this expectation of struggle and of pain and of misery. And like we all experience different levels and circumstances of pain and struggle in our lives, and like it's going to be there, but it's also important to like acknowledge all the good that can come out of it, and how often our biggest critics, like you were saying, is the person inside your head, the one who's telling you to be scared and to wait, and that everything's going to go wrong when you have no idea how everything's going to go, and you know having the courage to expect more out of people, and the courage to put yourself out there and advocate for yourself, and how that can in so many ways be uh accepted with love. And I mean, I think
Right,
that's a really important story to get out there. And of course you're blessed to have it. Yeah, of course. Like we're all blessed
right,
to have the goodness in our lives, but
right,
we can proclaim those blessings too, Yeah.
right, without feeling bad and stuff like that. Because sometimes I feel
Hmm.
bad, sometimes I don't want to speak on it because it's like, other people have such sad stories, and I'm just like, I just need to sit down and just sit back, you know. But it's
Yeah,
important to say
yeah,
that there's good things too. We need positivity too
yeah.
out there, and not saying that I've had my experiences with maybe one or two individuals that really pushed the limit with me, and as far as like misgendering me and just outright being disrespectful, but they are so minute in my mind that all the good stuff outweighs like the one or two bad things that happen. So it's like nothing bad happened to me. That's just how I feel about it.
Hmm. Yeah, no, and I
You know.
get you. And I totally like with the shame part. I mean, that's something that I still battle all the time. It's like feeling the shame for wanting to celebrate what you have, or a shame associated with this idea that there's some sort of like pain, that like a threshold for pain that must be like met in order to be, trans enough or something. Like
Enough,
there's
right?
and that's just, it's so dangerous and it's so toxic, and especially for like people out there who are just starting to understand who they are, and younger folks who are like going through this too, like to see and to feel that kind of shame and pressure to like have a certain amount of pain or to go through a certain amount of struggle to be able to deserve to be you. I mean, it just,
Right.
that's something that held me back for a long time, and it took hearing some people online like sort of start to talk about it for me to be like, oh, like I deserve to be able to own myself regardless of what I've been
True.
through, and,
Right.
that's something I still, it's a everyday thing. It's a everyday learning, like working on that, and yeah, it's a real thing.
It is. It is. It's tough, but we just keep pushing through and just keep thinking positively and moving forward and just being that light like we are right now and sharing with the people that, there are positive aspects to,
Hmm.
transitioning. And, you may have a family that will love you and continue on life. And, things, it's not always easy, but it eventually,
Yeah.
people come around and everything works out. You just have to keep
Yeah.
being persistent with it. That's all it's about.
Hmm. So, do you think there's any like I want to ask, like, are there any unique aspects or ways that you feel like you see your multiplicities of like identities intersecting in your life? Like, particularly, I'm thinking like your identity as a black man and your identity as a trans man
Right.
situates you in this world in your particular view of life. I mean, how do those two things come together for you in your day to day?
Actually, I love this question because, um, you know, of course, I am a person of color, and obviously, like, our people are just being attacked in certain type of ways, just that are just outrageous, and that's just happening. But for me personally, I don't really feel those pressures, I should say. I just didn't grow up in that type of environment where I was looked at any differently than anybody else. So I grew up in a
Mm,
very diverse area in the suburbs in South Jersey. So I grew up with white people. My mother's white, she's Italian. My father's Jamaican and Cuban. So I pretty feel like I am the middleman. I feel like I
mm,
am that Oreo cookie
mm,
that
mm,
needs to bring the people together as one, to show you that it's not about color, it's not about that. You know what I mean? I
mhm,
don't even think about it. I honestly don't even think about it. And like, I've been around friends and they tell me stories like, I was walking down the street and it was dark, and the white lady across the street, she like, clenched her purse and started walking faster because she
mm,
saw me, you know, and that's horrible, like, to even feel like that just because of your race. Like, if something like that
mhm,
happened to me outside and it was dark and some, older white lady like started hustling and grabbed her purse, I wouldn't even think of it as a race thing because that's how much I do not think about it. I would think that she
mm,
sees a man at night and it's late. Like, she doesn't want to, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, that's how
yeah,
I look at things. That's why, my perspective is so different than a lot of men of color that I
mm,
know because of the situations they grew up in and the places and the
yeah,
areas that they were raised in. I'm not saying that I've never been racially profiled. I may have, and I took it for something completely different because that's how much I don't think about it. You know what I mean? That's how
mm,
much it doesn't affect me personally. I
yeah,
do see what is happening on the streets. I do see, you know, what is happening. I do see it. But as far as it directing me personally, it's not affecting me personally as of yet. I haven't come into an encounter. I
yeah,
I thank God for that. I haven't had that
yeah,
situation happen to me. But as far as like having the experience, I just like to be honest and upfront that I just haven't. I'm not gonna
mhm,
lie. I grew
yeah,
up in the suburbs out in
yeah,
this South Jersey. If anybody knows where that's at, that it's just a little regular regular family neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. I know that's
it,
totally valid. I mean, that's your true like valid experience, and I think there's a layer in there too of the entanglements of masculinity, and what I mean by that is male privilege as well. Like I
right,
think and I won't speak for you, but like I've certainly experienced this complete. It's almost like I've described it as like whiplash, right? It's like going
yes,
from being read as female and now being read as male, and just how people just immediately treat you with more respect, and they give you more distance. They give you more, they take, they just like take your words at face value. They respect you, and like I feel safer walking around the streets and like going through, like if I'm going to my car in a parking garage, like 2 years ago, I would have been like kind of clutching my keys and like a little more on edge. And like now I have this privilege of like not having that fear in my head, and it's like it just dissolved away. And the reason I bring this up is because I think there is, you know, there's that intersection of blackness and of people of color that is intersecting with femininity, and we see it in our women of color and our trans community who are being
Yeah.
attacked and murdered. And it's just like, that there's this stark difference between what's going on for trans women and trans men. And I think as trans men, we need to be talking about this, because I don't think we talk about it enough. Like I mean, we're
I,
all
I,
online all the time, but we're not having these conversations.
yeah, for sure. It's like you said, it's like a whiplash. It's like, whoa, like you have a total different respect now as a man, even at my job, even at work. Like if I say something versus, like, I work with a female nurse on the other side of my hall, and it's like if she says something, they may not listen to her right away, but if I'm like, no, you need to do it, it's done. You know what I mean? It's like a whole different thing than
Yeah,
when they listen to her. And I tell them all the time, like, you need to listen to her. You know what I mean? Like, there's no
yeah.
reason for you guys to not listen to her and listen to me. Like, I know that I
Hmm.
look more serious than she does sometimes because she's a sweetheart, but ultimately, like, if she says something, you should be doing it. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
that's just one prime example, that happens like on a day-to-day thing for me. So it's
yeah.
like and it's like, what how do we change that? What do we do, you know?
Well, and I think what you're doing is like in this specific scenario, like calling those things out and saying like, okay, you're talking to me differently than you're talking to this woman, and why are you doing that? And do you understand that you're doing that? Do you hear that you're doing that? And I've had to do that in my job as well. I work with mostly like cis white men, and knowing like who's in the room in a meeting and being able to like elevate the voices that need to be elevated, or just like staying quiet, because not everybody knows that I'm a trans man at my job. A lot of people just read me in the room as another cis white dude, and and that's the privilege that I walk into that room with. And it's about, I think it's about being active, and it's about using your voice to uplift everyone, and to make it known like when these things are happening.
Right, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. It really should be addressed. Like, do you realize what you're doing? And I think I don't say
Hmm.
that, so I definitely will put that in the bank for sure.
And it's hard to do too, like in the moment. But so I want to switch gears just a little bit so we can like
Okay.
keep talking our way through things. You like just had top surgery like not that long ago, right? This was like end of 2018.
Yes, it was, when was
Yeah.
it? November 28th or 29th, I think. Yeah, 29th, November
Yeah.
29th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it
So
was good.
congrats.
Thank you. Everything is good. No
All
problems.
good.
I'm all
Awesome.
good.
So yeah, how was the healing process, and like juggling your whole life, and you're running this small business? We're gonna dig into that here in just a few minutes. But how was, juggling the healing, the surgery, the small business? What was it like?
It was hard. It was emotional. It was depressing. I won't
Mm,
lie. It was hard. Um, yeah. Owning the business is probably one of the best things to me, but it also is very stressful too. Just
mm-hmm,
with my regular job. and my life, my life. I have to worry about my lady, making sure she's happy, just all the things. But it was hard for that period of time when I got out of surgery because I couldn't go to the gym, and that's like my escape, that's my outlet.
Yeah.
So like having to sit with myself and, you know, analyze myself all day long, like it was a really bad time for me. Like, I don't want to say a bad time. It was really like another enlightenment period. It was like another level in transition, I feel like, for me, because I like stepped into like this new man. Felt like I had to like step up in so many ways in my life, like not only for myself, but for my girlfriend and like for our family, and just like be
Mm-hmm.
be what I wasn't being before. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, I've been grinding, I treat her with respect, this, that, and a third, but ultimately, like, there was still things like within communication that I was lacking, and I felt like I needed to improve on. So I felt like that period of time opened my mind up to like all those things. So it was like a depression at first, but ultimately it became like an enlightenment period where I was really able to like embrace
Mm-hmm.
my faults and like take on life in a new perspective with my new chest and just feeling more free within my body. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't too much.
No, no, no. I'm glad. Like, I mean, thank you for getting like real and vulnerable, because that is so so common and so real. Just so many guys that I talk to who go through these surgeries, and I did myself. Like, I was like nodding along with you while you're talking, because like when you come off of a big surgery like that and you're not able to do the things that you normally do, and you have this like conflict in your mind. You're like, I just did this huge thing for my body that is like supposed to crack open my life, and like I've been thinking about it for so long, and like all the bad stuff's supposed to go away, and like it's all going to be
Right,
like, this was the big thing I thought I'd never do, and like I did
right.
it. It's all supposed to be like sunshine and roses from here on out, and like you get out of there and you're like, you're sore and you're fatigued, and like you can't like poop. Like, there's like, it's like too real, but like, you know what I
For
mean? And it
sure.
just like post-op depression is like a real thing, and not a lot of people talk about it. I mean, I see a good number of people getting real about it online, but there's still a lot of people, who come around asking all the time, hey, I'm really anxious about this surgery, and it's such a big deal, and like, how am I going to feel afterwards? And just like, well, you're probably going to feel really tired and maybe a little depressed. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't the right thing to do, that you're not
Right.
happy. It's just, it's like healing takes time, and it can be really scary. It can be super scary to be in that moment and be like, shit, like
Right.
I
Yeah.
just did this thing and I'm so depressed now. Like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It was really hard. And it was hard too for me because I was out with my chest before surgery. So having to
Mm,
go back to binding every day for like a
mm-hmm.
month or 2 months, it was really hard for me because like I just did all of this to have my shirt off, and now I have to wear my shirt on for 2 months, and
Yeah.
I was already had my shirt off before this. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Oh my
like,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, that
It's
was
like
really
the
a big challenge for me.
what is it? Like the last 30 minutes of like a super long road trip where you're like, we're never going to get to this place. Like the last 30 minutes is always the longest. It's like you do this
Seriously.
surgery so that you don't have to wear a binder, so you don't have to do all these constricting things to your body. And like, it's that last binding that's like the longest of your life. Yeah. No,
Truly,
it's rough.
truly,
It's rough. But okay,
truly.
so let's jump into Stealth Bros, and let's talk about your company a little bit. Like, why don't you tell me just like how and when you decided to start your brand?
Well, okay, I'll start from the very, very beginning. Um,
Hmm.
I would say about Stealth Bros started in December of 2017. So I want to say like December before then, like when I like was just about to start hormones, um, you know, I obviously was like watching YouTube. I was, seeing all the guys that were involved in the community and like raising money for top surgery and all this. And I knew like in the back of my mind at that point that I wanted to do something within the community, but I knew that I had to do something that would be different from what everybody else was doing, because then I would just be like another guy trying to jump on the bandwagon and not really like, make a mark for myself. So I sat on it for a really long time, and then one day me and my girlfriend were in Marshall's, and I was telling her, I was looking at the toiletry bags, and I was like, I need a bag for my tea. And then she was like saying something. I was like, yeah, I'm about to make my own bag, and that's what I'm going to do. And then a lot of months went by, and because I was just in my first year of transition, I was very up and down. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I wanted to go. And, it was very hard on my relationship, and it put a lot of stress on everything. But ultimately, it kind of put me into a place where I had to restart all over again. And I was forced into this position where it was like, okay, you can spend this money on nothing, or you can spend it and invest in yourself and try to do this. So I was just online researching, and I just happened to find the suppliers, happened to find the right people, and I just started putting it together just like that in literally one day. And then I reached out to one of my good friends, Miko Cologne, who was my first lead photographer. And I was like, bro, I'm about to do this and I need your help, because if I'm going to bring out something, I need something that looks good. Like, I know my product is going to be good, but if I have crappy pictures, nobody's going to look at it. So he was like, all right, I got you. So he pretty much helped me from the very beginning and helped me get all the photography and stuff in order. And yeah, we just did it just like that. And the crazy part is that, rewind back to when I first knew that I wanted to like be a part of the community. I was really heavy in Instagram, and I would just reach out to everybody. I would just talk to everybody. And like, not because I knew I was going to start a business. I just knew that I wanted to be friends with all those guys that looked really cool, and I just admired them so much. I just wanted to be in their circle of life, and I wanted that so bad. So I would just reach out, talk to them. I related to a lot of them. And ultimately, these people became friends over that year before I even started Stealth Bros. So when um, I decided to launch Stealth Bros, I gave all of them free products and said, hey, look, if you really like this product, um, please repost it and let them know. And that's literally how Stealth Bros took off, just like that, just from the people
Yeah.
from the very beginning who supported them, and just took off just like that.
Yeah, having that community and making it happen. Yeah. No, that's so
Yeah.
great. So when you were thinking of like your designs, like you mentioned, seeing like a toiletry bag like in a shop at a mall or wherever you were, but like when it came to like designing something that you also had the potential to make more specifically, for shot supplies and hormone supplies, like what were you thinking of as you were coming up with that design? And that doesn't have to be the like first prototype, it can be your newest stuff too, but like what goes into, what are you considering in the design?
Basically, I want something that's like stylish yet organized, because I like organized things. I like being able to open it up and be like, okay, this is that. Go, ready to go.
Hmm.
So that was pretty much like what was on my mind. But honestly, I don't know if you know Beck from Trans and Shirtless, but he's like one of my best
Yeah.
friends. And when I came out with the toiletry bags, um, you know, we were discussing things, and he was like, he's a flight attendant, and he's like, I need something for just like one shot. And I was like, all right,
Hmm.
like, let me see. And I like, and it really stuck with me. And I was like, I need something smaller, more portable, something that can hold everything. So pretty much that's when I started to really dig into the junior dop, and that's really like my first like design, like my personal design
Yeah.
that I made the dimensions and everything for. And get down, sorry, my cat. And um, and basically that was the junior dop. I created that design, and now I actually like am actually trying to create, well, I actually did create it, it's already here, a sample, but I just haven't bought the production of it yet because it's very expensive. um it's a one shot hard case junior dop, and
Mm,
it's really cool. It's a hard case. It fits one shuttle inside, and then next to it can fit one needle tip and one
mhm.
needle syringe, and then on the opposite side has a little space to hold band-aid and a couple of alcohol pads and so have you, whatever.
Yeah.
But there, it's just like how I do it. I literally have a sketch pad. Like, I'm about to show you guys,
Mm.
if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Do
I
it.
have this. Actually, I don't know if you guys. I'm dropping a lot of names tonight because all my friends influence me. But Marley Washington, he's the
Hey, that's
owner
okay.
and founder of GC2B, and he actually bought me this book when I was out on surgery to help motivate me and inspire my mind, since I couldn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
work my body and stuff like that. So like this is how I do it. Like look at this. Do you see that?
Yeah. That's a pretty good drawing, man. I'm impressed.
Listen, would it be a problem if I ran off camera for 2 seconds?
Uh, I mean,
All right, do
do
it.
what
Two
you got to
seconds.
do. Yeah. Okay. For all of you who aren't aware, GC2B is a binder company. So they sell binders for trans men to bind with, non-binary people to
I
bind with.
know.
So
I know Brax
yeah,
is
there we
wild.
are.
Sorry guys. I
Brax,
just wanted
yeah, total improv here, total improv.
seriously, but I just wanted to show you like how crazy it is when you just put some like, I'm not an artist, but I'm a visionary,
Yeah.
and this was my vision, okay? And
Hmm.
then this is the product, okay? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Awesome.
when you can go from that to this, you
Mm.
know, it's big. You don't need to be an artist. You just have to have the grind. You just have to want it.
Yeah.
You just have to network and talk to people and say, hey, can you do this, can you do that for me, and make it work. And if they say no, you move to the next person who will make it work for you. And that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's super inspirational. And I love that, you can be like, you don't have to have every single skill set. Like, you don't have to be perfect at A, B, C, and D, like all of the things that go into the business 100%. Like, you can surround yourself with the right people. You can work with photographers, friends. You can hustle to like make the connections with other people in the community who have their own businesses, people who are going to be willing to kind of like promo what you're doing and like help you make the connections with suppliers and designs. I mean, there's so many people out there that become your network and that like make
Right.
these things happen, and I think that's super inspirational for anybody who's thinking about starting their own things and doing their own things. I think it's an important thing to mention. I did want to ask you a
Mm.
question about the name of your brand. So the name of your brand is Stealth Bros and Co. It does kind of imply some masculinity, just inherently. I mean, you're a trans man. I get it,
Right.
But how do you feel? How do you feel like your company is catering to women and to trans women with your designs and your products that you have?
Yeah, that's good. It's, when I first started Stealth Bros, I didn't imagine it to take off like it did. I just really needed to raise money for my top surgery, and I wanted to help
Mm-hmm.
raise money to give back to those people who helped me. And and I knew that the foundation was of the Brotherhood. So that's pretty much like why I named it Stealth Bros, and stealth because like even though I'm not really stealth in my life, like people at my job know that I'm trans. Everybody knows that I'm trans. It's
Mm,
I'm so with whatever with it. It's like, okay, what's next?
yeah.
But yeah, it's like it gives that opportunity to people who want to move stealth, whether they're female or male. That's why it's Stealth Bros and Company, because it's not just about the bros, but just know that is our foundation. Just know that the
Mm,
Brotherhood is what started all this, and that's the most important part. But we are Stealth Bros
yeah.
and the company that we keep, and that could be trans women, non-binary, that could be cis males who are diabetic and need this bag for diabetic purposes, or if you have
Hmm.
HIV, if you're a gay HIV man, or whatever the case may be, we want to cater to everybody. So that's something that I've been focusing more on, lately, trying to find a specific product just for trans. So,
Yeah.
it's definitely hard because, I don't have that experience, and I really like to feel my product. I really like to make sure that what I'm going to
Mm,
release is something that's going to be needed and wanted at the
hmm.
same time. So that's why I've been actually trying to like talk to more trans women and get more involved with how they take their HRT and pretty much like learn
Hmm.
more about their needs, because they have certain things that they need in their purse that you wouldn't even believe.
Hmm.
It's very exciting actually. Um,
Hey, I've
but
learned so much. I work with two trans women now on this YouTube channel, and they teach me new things like every day. Like I learned what like a pineapple is. It's like you put all your hair on top of your head. It's like a crazy bun, but I just did these things I just don't know. I just had no
teaching me
idea,
something.
you know. Yeah. No, but I think the awareness of, who the whole of the community is and who you want to be your customer is really important. And I think you show so much awareness too, because you are actively trying to give back. So, Stealth Bros has a support fund that you run, that
Yeah.
supports transgender folks. And I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about the fund, what motivated you to start it, how someone might apply to the fund, and
Mhm.
what they would do that.
Okay, so it's pretty simple. Well, first I'll tell you, we had a support fund last year for 2018 where I took 15% of all sales each month, and I put that to a side bank account. And at the end of the year, we had a little bit like over $2,500 that we donated to one guy who was able to get his top surgery. So that was awesome. But this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to um, give back to more people. Like, I just feel like, all year to one person, like, I know it's a lot of money that will be saved, but I can help in so many different ways. Like, I don't have to give back in top surgery. A lot of companies give back to top surgery, and I want to support those companies like Point of Pride and Flavin Streetwear. I like to support them in their top surgery. So I figured this year I'm going to do something different where I could either you have a you have a choice now. So I made choices. So like you can get aid in like STP packers if you aren't financially stable and that's something that you need to help your dysphoria, or if you want to get your name change or your birth certificate name change and you don't have the funds for that, I will supply the funds for that. Um, you know,
Nice.
Things like that are what I'm trying to accomplish now, because I know that I can help more than one person per year, and like that's the goal,
Hmm.
to help as many people as I can. So that's what I'm trying to do this year. So actually, June 1st is when it closes, or excuse me, I think it's June 1st. You're going to have to go to the website and look at the details, but June
Okay.
1st is when,
Yeah.
um, yeah, June 1st is when it closes. And you just click the link where it says SB um, SF Support Fund, and that it's right there. You just click the link, and the link will take you to the Google
Hmm.
file, and you just fill out the application, and boom, just like that.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think that's amazing, and the fact that you're doing all this work and all this hustle to create your product and create your vision, and then to turn that
Mm.
around. and want to help people who need help. And I think it's really awesome to think about all the little things that people need in terms of like supplies that can help dysphoria. And like you're talking about, like name and gender marker changes can be so expensive. To be able to help out in those ways, I think can be so valuable. So I think that's great. And anybody who's interested and who's watching should definitely go and check out the site and check out the fund and see if it's the right thing for you. So I do want to ask you, before we kind of transition over to some viewer questions, I'm wondering, we talked a lot about your company and a lot about like the designs that you're coming out with and how you see your customer, but what do you see for the future of Stealth Bros? Where do you see yourself going? 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road? What are your goals?
Um, honestly, like my goals for Stealth Bros is just to continue reaching as many trans men as possible. Like I want everybody to know about Stealth Bros. I want everybody to feel comfortable when they're taking their shot. I want them to be happy about taking their shot. So like that's the ultimate goal. But I honestly try not to put too much expectations on the business because I feel like that's when the pressure sets in, and then I feel like I have to do it, rather than just taking it day by day and just enjoying the process of building the business. I'm like, what I look forward to is just my next meeting, because I know that in that meeting, it'll just introduce me to my next one, and then to my next one, and then to my next one. So that's what I like. That's what I look forward to. I really don't look into the years ahead because I
Yeah,
just don't have any expectation for it. Because if I put a big expectation and don't reach it, I'll just be putting myself down. So I just thankful for every order that comes in every day and
mm,
just look at it like that.
I love that. I mean, I think that shows like so much like emotional like maturity to really understand like also just what motivates you like as a business owner. Like there might be people out there who get really motivated by having like a this, that, and the next year sort of plan. And like maybe that's how they work too. And like you're saying, like for yourself, and when you know yourself, it's just like, yeah, set whatever level of things that you want to focus on and like let that motivate you and lean in, you know, to that core of who you are, and like bring that to your business too, and like and look at it that way. I think that's really like authentic and cool to like hear you say that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That makes me
Yeah.
happy.
It makes me happy too.
That's awesome.
So we do have some viewer questions that I do want to get
Cool.
to. And
Awesome.
if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook and you have a question for Brax or for me, you can put it in the chat and we'll try to answer as many as we can. But first, let's start with questions that were submitted earlier in the week through Instagram. The first one is, what inspired you to launch Stealth Bros & Co.? And I know we talked a little bit about like how you started the business, but was there
Mhm.
like a moment? I mean, you talked about seeing the toiletry bag like in the store, but like, maybe you can talk a little bit more just about like the fire, inspiration, or motivation behind starting the company.
Well, the fire honestly was the real God's honest truth. I was in a really bad place with my girlfriend at the time, and she was saying that I had lost myself and that I wasn't who I was before, and I wasn't driven, and there was a lot of self-realization there. It was hard, it was hurtful, but it's what I needed. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna show you. And it was just like really showing myself that I am that person. I am that goal driven, motivated person I've always been. I had fell off for like a good 5 years because I just, like before, like I said, about not knowing what I was lacking. I was like in like a 5 year stagnant rut because I didn't know what to do because nothing was working until I
Mm-hmm.
transitioned. And then obviously the first year transition is wild, but pretty much the hardship of me losing my girlfriend from it really pushed me to say, I'm going to do this. And that's what pushed me.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. Thank you for like getting that like vulnerable with us and like sharing
Yeah,
that, because I think that's really important. Like, because so many of us go through moments where we're like, you're just like so defeated sometimes, and like it can feel like things are falling apart. And I feel like so often it's those moments where like you're just amongst that sort of rubble and you're like, what just happened, is when you have that breakthrough, or when you have the fire and the readiness that you need to like launch yourself into that next step. And
right.
sometimes that comes with loss. Like sometimes we have to let things go to get there. But the growth happens, and to hear that reflected in your story, I think a lot of people will identify with that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thank God I got her back though.
Yes, thank God, thank God. You're a better half. Yeah.
Oh man,
All
yeah.
right. So we have another question here. Our next question: how did you learn the business side of what you do?
Wow, that's a good question. I I really don't. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, so I pretty much watched money my entire life. I don't really know what I learned from it, to be honest with you. I just I just feel like maybe that's why I had some sense of idea of like how to do things. But the God's honest truth is Google and YouTube. Those are the answers for you. If you need to know something, you just put it in YouTube and it'll tell you. Google will tell you the same exact thing. And that's honest to God how I found that's how I found out how to create a domain. That's how to create an LLC. If you're really determined about something, you will read about it, and you will read about it until you regurgitate it. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
that's what the grind's really all about. Just really reading and networking, and that's really it.
yeah, yeah. No, I hear that. And so that kind of brings us into the next viewer question. Do you have a mentor? So you've talked a lot about your network. Um, or do you consider your mentor just to be like Google and YouTube? Or do you have like a person, is there a person you go to, or maybe a group of people you go to, for mentorship?
Like as far as business or life?
Both. Why not both? Why not both? Yeah.
Okay, so honestly, my girlfriend is like my mentor. Like I bring everything to her. Like she
Mm,
always gets me in line. Like I will say something to her and be hyped about it, and then she'll bring me back down to remind me why it's not so hype. Like sometimes I need that in my life because I'm on 100 all the time. I go 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 go, and I need
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
who understands how fast my mind is and understands and who knows how to slow me down and make me reanalyze and think about things. So if I had a mentor, it would definitely be her because she's the only person that knows everything,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it would be her.
that's the real deal. Yeah. Shout out to
Hmm.
her.
Shout
The
out.
puppet master behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah, yo, she is. Seriously, she does
Yeah.
a lot for. Everybody's like, yeah, bros, but really, it's your sis back there.
It's it's all her. It's all her. Yeah. Yeah. You're just here like, oh yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah, no, no, she's definitely. I definitely run everything by her, and all my ideas and
Yeah.
vision. She definitely helps me tweak them to make them that much better. So I appreciate her in every way.
No, that's amazing. I mean, true partnership in business and relationship and life. Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So we have one last viewer question that came in from Instagram, and it's, how did you stay confident while faced with hatred and bigotry? Um, and I guess you can take this however you want. And I mean, we touched on kind of struggle and different things, earlier
Yeah,
on in the show. But
I
you
don't.
know,
it just all goes back to it. It's not even about the hatred and bigotry. That's that person's problem. That's not my problem. It all comes back to self and knowing yourself. And if you don't care what people you don't even hear that. You know what I mean? Even if there
Mm,
is a guy like, oh, you have a vagina, like, okay, cool.
mm,
Like, you know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
gone.
it's their thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much. I actually feel sorry for them that they have that hatred in their heart. They must have been, abandoned as a child or something like that. It's a shame.
Something's going on. Yeah,
Something is going
yeah.
on deeper for
No,
sure.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a really helpful practice. It's something that, I have to take a step back sometimes during my day and be like, you know what, that comment, whatever, like that's not
Right.
me, that's them. And sometimes it gets a little too much in my head. Sometimes it doesn't. And I just walk away. And, it's just being able to like pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and like, however it affected you, like try to move forward from that. And like, it's not going to help if you beat yourself up even more after someone kind
Right.
of like, tried to throw hate at you. So, I think it's a practice. It's something that you just practice every day.
Yeah, it's
So we
it's
have,
definitely practice. Yeah.
no, keep going,
No, go
keep
ahead.
going. Sorry.
No, no, no. I'm just saying it's definitely practice. Self love is practice for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So we have one last question. This came in from the live chat, so I'm gonna kind of read it off for everybody. This is from Victoria, and Victoria asks, any tips for business owners who struggle with finding a healthy balance between ambition and relaxation?
Well, the answer is this. If you truly love your business, then it is relaxation for you. Doing the orders for me is relaxation. It's not a problem. It's something that I enjoy doing. I look forward to getting up and doing them. You don't need to relax really if you enjoy doing what you do. I mean, you can. I do relax. Don't get me wrong. I come home after work and I do relax and sit on the couch with my girl and watch TV. But ultimately, like, I'm still working on the phone or on the computer. So
Mm,
it's a
yeah.
lifestyle, really.
Yeah. Do you feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, are you the type of person, do you feel like you have to create any boundaries, or do you just kind of let it flow? Like how do you kind of balance
Um.
that if you do?
Well, the thing is, I'm not gonna lie. I have problems balancing it because I'm so addicted. But
Mm,
it's like you have to you just have to know when to shut it off. And that's something that I'm
mhm.
honestly working on right now is when I'm with family, or if I say today we're going to spend time with the twins or do this, I really try hard not to even pick my phone up or to do anything associated with business while, I'm
Yeah.
out that day. It's something that I'm just starting to work on. I mean, I've been trying to work on it, but where I'm actually doing it now. I've
Mhm.
talked about it, but I'm doing. So that's where my
Yeah.
change is coming in. And it's not easy, but you have to. I mean, family comes first ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
So
it's one of those other moments, like we were talking about with the hatred and things, like practicing those ways of being good to yourself. Like this is, to me, this is another one of those things. It's like you're passionate about your business and you want to do it all the time, but you're passionate and in love with your family and your partner, and you need to be there for them, but also for you, because it brings you love and it brings you energy. So practicing setting those boundaries intentionally, and like, sometimes you're going to fail at that, and pick yourself up and like try not to beat yourself up about it and try to do better the next time around.
for sure, that's the exact way to do it.
Yeah. Well, this was so fun to talk with you, Brax, and I don't want you to like run away. I want you to hang in for a sec, and we're gonna come back to you. But I do want to kind of take a moment to talk with everyone about next week's show. We will be talking about the growing professional field of transgender care. And specifically, that's in regards to the state of gatekeeping and mental health and gender health. And our guest will be Mare Abrams, and they are a lovely non-binary human and licensed clinical social worker. So we hope you all join us here next week. It's the same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Facebook. And a reminder, if you do like getting notifications when we go live, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trans IRL. All of our past episodes are also available there. And we're also on Facebook as the Trans IRL Show and Instagram at Trans IRL. So don't forget to like us, follow us there, do all the things, follow all the things. We want to have you share in this community of ours. So Brax, thank you. Thank you so much. This was like an amazing conversation. We talked about
Awesome.
like family, we talked about masculinity, we talked about race, we did it all, and got to learn so much about your company. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome. My pleasure.
Yes. Yeah, it was so much fun, and I can't wait to see you in Philly, and have a good night, everyone.
Awesome. Have a good night.